Hey everyone, welcome to day 2 of the 10 by 10 by 10 challenge, or 10 appointments from 10 missed calls in 10 days. Now I'm really excited you guys are here because where we left off last time was on this screen right here. We have the AI voice receptionist set up. We've got that phone number. Hopefully you've called it. And now what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you actually how to analyze those phone calls inside of our system and a little bit about what's going on from the user interface, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click Close Account Setup. Now, if you've had a phone call, it's going to show up here, okay? I'm in Conversations. Now, I don't have a phone call yet. So I'm gonna actually test this, and the way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna click on our BusyBot icon down here in the right corner. I'm gonna click on Test My AI Receptionist, and I'm gonna click on Call My AI Receptionist. Okay, so I'm calling it right now.
Hey there, thanks for calling Pete's Pest Control. My name is Tim, an advanced AI receptionist. I can help you book an appointment, answer questions about our services, or take a message for our team. How can I help you?
Hey Tim. I'm just calling in because my neighbor uses you guys and I thought I'd reach out.
Great, let's see if we can help. What pest concern are you experiencing and how long have you been dealing with this issue?
We have some ants in our kitchen and they showed up a couple weeks ago. I thought some vinegar would get rid of them, but they keep coming back.
Oh no, that sounds rough. Ants can be quite persistent. Are you a current customer with us, or is this your first time reaching out for service?
Okay, awesome. So if you guys remember from the setup, it was following it, right? The very first thing I asked it to do was ask what pest concern it was and how long I've been experiencing it. Then it splits current customer or new customer, right? And now we can see that we actually have this right here. And it's marked as admin test, and it's marked as a test here. I can click on it and it shows up and I can see a couple of things. So let's dive into this page. What I can see here at the very beginning is I have this quotable tab. And what that does is, let's say I have like 3 people using the software and I want to mark this as a lead and I close it. Now that tag changed so I can communicate to the rest of the team by that status. Now, by default, the new ones that come in will say new, and there'll be this bright orange, and as soon as you open it, they switch from new to not set, right? And so then you can go in and say, well, I sold the account, it was a follow-up, they were unqualified, current customer sells, or completed. No more team members have to think about this, right? Like it's done, it's completed, done means done. So you and your team can create a system on how you want to use these, and that's going to help you a ton on staying organized. And what I always tell people when they're coming in and I'm on a sales call with them is that this is not a CRM. And a CRM stands for Client Relationship Management or Customer Relationship Management. And it doesn't do things like all the appointments, the notes per customer and everything like that. But we wanted to give you a little bit of it just in case you didn't have a CRM. Right? But we're not trying to replace a CRM. We're not competing with it. Local Business Pro is an AI voice receptionist, right? So I can add that, then I can add notes. And on this, I could say called the customer back because in this scenario, it would be that the call got disconnected or something like that, right? Because it just stops or the caller hung up. So I could write like, I called the customer back and they went with another company, or some probably better positive news. I called the customer back and got them on the schedule. Okay, so if at any reason the AI gave a quote value, you can write that into here. And then what was the actual sales value? Again, not a CRM, but we got those 4 fields that are going to help you quite a bit when it comes to staying organized on those phone calls. Now, based off of all the information that you asked it to provide in those service details, which we'll go over in a minute, it actually reads the conversation and pulls out all of the details here so that if we're not connected to your CRM, it makes it really easy for your team to come in here and click copy and transfer the data from one system to the next. And you can see here that it didn't even get to really asking me my first name or anything like that because it was too early in the conversation based off of the instructions I gave. So none of those custom variables were able to be pulled out because I didn't give any in the conversation. So right now we just know that it's not a current customer, okay? So that's your conversations page. Let's go over and go in and test it, right? So let's say that I'm calling and I'm testing it, and I wanted here for the AI to say something like, instead of asking me right away how long I've been dealing with the pest information, I might want first name and last name a little earlier, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over to AI logic. So anything dealing with the AI receptionist is gonna be inside of AI logic, right? You got your general logic, which is your AI receptionist. Then you've got your services, which is the services that you offer. Then you've got your business logic, which is, your phone number, your website, and things like that. Okay. So let's scroll down. This is where I can change the name. I can change the voice, and I can sample it if I want. I can change the office role, so I'm going to put it into sales manager. I can change that industry. I can change that goal, which I want to make this say book an appointment. And then on the forwarding logic, this is really cool here. So on the forwarding logic is that if someone's on the phone and they're like, can I talk to a human? Can I talk to your boss? Can I talk to a manager? This will actually forward the call to whatever phone number you put. So if I put yes, I can put in that live number. And when somebody says, hey, can I talk to a human? It'll actually forward the phone call. However, you have to be careful. You do not want to create what's called an infinite loop. So if you have this set up because your office staff is not answering the phone, and then this picks up and someone says, can I talk to a human? It forwards back to that office staff, then your AI is just going to pick up again, right? So you got to be careful there when you think about that setup and that customer journey and where duplicates can happen, right? This infinite loop can happen. We want to avoid that. Okay. Receptionist first message. So let's say at the very beginning, I didn't like that it said, thanks for calling Pete's Pest Control. My name is Tim, an advanced AI receptionist, and goes through all of this information. It was a little too long, right? What I can do here is take out this and say, hey there, thanks for calling Pete's Pest Control. My name is Tim, an advanced AI receptionist. Which pest is bugging? Yeah. Okay. Now this initial chat message, this is if you decide to put the AI chat widget on your website. What's that preloaded message that's going to be in the bottom corner there? Hey there, how can I help you? You can ask something a little bit more specific about your business, like when's the last time you got your hair done? I don't know, something to get that conversation going when visitors visit your website. Okay, current customer flow. You guys remember this from the wizard setup, right? This is that high level flow that it's taking you through. And so I wanted to change right away where it asked if I was experiencing pests, right? And I want to move this one up first. Ask for the caller's first name, and then ask what pest concerns I've been experiencing. Okay, so I just switch that, and I'm gonna probably put this together. First and last name there. Okay, now before I click on update, I wanna show you guys a couple other things here. Advanced prompts. Now the advanced prompts, truly they are advanced, okay? And I'm actually gonna tell you guys a quick story about one of the customers we had early on. Now, this company, fantastic company, they're called Anytime Pest Elimination, and they wanted to give a discount to their customers. And so they added a coupon. But when they wrote it in here, they didn't write that if the coupon had already been applied or if it was yet to be applied, right? Now, seems like a simple mistake, but it's actually a very costly mistake, because if you tell somebody that, hey, the price is $200, but we're going to give you a $50 off coupon, which brings it down to $150, great. Apply the coupon. Awesome. But if you say the price is $150 with a $50 off coupon, does that mean that the $50 off coupon had already been applied, or do we bring the price down to $100, right? So you think, well, he said with, so it means that we already applied it, right? But does it just mean the price is $150 and it also comes with a coupon, right? So you have to be very careful on what you say and how you write things, because that's how the AI is going to understand what your actual intent is. So if you turn on these advanced prompts, test, 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 okay? And so toggle those on. I can pull this down, and you'll notice here, number 3, ask for the caller's last name, ask for the caller's phone number. It's actually just these sales conversations pre-formatted with some extra things around it, such as like your office role, for example, the persona's name, which is your AI receptionist name. So if I scroll all the way back up to the top, Tim in this case, right? So there are some advanced things here. Feel free to do it. We do have what we call dynamic variables. So like, for example, that industry that we talked about earlier, the company name. So that way, if you change your company name somewhere else, like you want to shorten it, then it's going to automatically update throughout your prompts, right, in the business logic. And the biggest one that I will highlight is that we need to make sure that you're using the date, right? Today's date and time, because it needs to know what the date and time are, right? So make sure you add those in on curly brackets if you change the advanced custom prompts. However, I suggest do not use them unless you're very confident, okay? So now, if you guys notice, there's a little bit of like dinging on that call, and you might be like, wait a minute, I don't want that. Turn it off, right? Turn off typing noise, indicator dings, and then NPS score collection. So after the phone call, it can ask the user, rate the call 1 to 5. How was it? So these first ones where we type in like typing noise, that's just the, as the bot's thinking and computing and doing all those things, there's a little bit of typing noise. Indicator dings, that's where it's going to ding, my turn, your turn, because you got to kind of train users on how to talk to the AI. And then NPS score, we talked about that. Speaker boost, voice stability settings, and voice similarity. These ones, again, experiment if you want, but I highly suggest keeping these ones the same as well, because on voice stability, we have it turned all the way up. Now that can make the AI sound a little bit more robotic, but if I turn this all the way down, then what's going to actually happen is that the AI, from conversation to conversation, so when the AI starts and says, hey, can I get your first name? And then the caller responds, yeah, my first name is Joe or Bob or whatever. And then the second message, like, awesome, thanks, Bob. Can I get your last name too? Those two speeches could sound like they're different people, right? Because it's regenerating that voice in real time. These aren't pre-recorded voice messages, but it's generating it in real time. And so you don't want it to be too variable. And the more variable it is, the more human it's going to sound. But you want to keep that to where it sounds like they're talking to the same person and not cousin of Bob or whatever, right? Best friend that is also in the office. So mess with those a little bit. But again, speaker boost, voice stability, and voice similarity, I recommend keeping the same. Really where you guys can mess with things is the indicator dings, typing noise, and NPS score. Okay. So we went through this whole page. I've already made some changes, especially on this initial call message and on the sales conversation flow. So I'm going to click update. And every time that you make an update, that bar will come there. Click update again. I'm going to go back to conversations tab, and let's do another test call real quick, just so we can hear how quickly we change things.
Hey there. Thanks for calling Pete's Pest Control. My name is Tim, an advanced AI receptionist. Which pest is bugging you?
Hey, Tim. I actually have some ants in my kitchen.
Oh no, that sounds rough. Ants can be quite a nuisance. Can I have your first and last name to get started?
Yeah, my first and last name is Keaton Alder, and the way you spell that is Keeton, and then Alder. Okay, so I'm going to hang up on that before the call goes a little too far. And as I reload the page, what we're going to see in here is another admin test. And we can see that it got the spelling here, and then Alder. Okay. And so now you can see it actually started pulling out the first and last name, but it got the spelling a little wrong, right? My name is a very hard name, right? Keaton. A lot of people are like, what name is that, right? There's like Michael Keaton, Diane Keane, I think her last name is. I don't know. But it's an uncommon name. And so it has a difficulty picking it up, right? And most of the time, it's not that big of a deal. But think through that. Like, do I have to ask the user to spell out their name? Because could a regular human guess that with high probability, right? Hey, can you spell out your first name for me so I make sure I have it correct in our records? Easy way to get around that, right? So it did the changes that we want, which is awesome, okay? And that was the AI logic page. And so now let's head over to services. Now services are the second part, and we only have ant control, right? So the way you can think about services is in two ways. So let's say that I hired Tim, and Tim is a real live person. He's gonna sit right here next to me, and every time that a call comes in, Tim's an expert in my industry, but he's new to my business. And so I have those sales conversation steps, and I have all these things printed out. So when Tim answers the phone, he could just read what's going on. And it's the same thing with these services. So if I type in ant control and I open it, what I'm going to imagine this as like a print off that I put in front of Tim, so that as Tim's talking and someone says like, well, what is your ant control? Like, what does it do? I can use the general description, and Tim's going to use that information to communicate to that user, right? Details to collect. It's going to grab all of that. Service details, appointment duration, arrival window, detailed service overview, service overview. These are all things that we did on that wizard initially. But when you're creating, maybe you didn't do them all on the wizard, but when you're creating a new one, make sure to add all of that, right? Make sure to add those details in there, okay? So you've got those service details, pricing strategy, and so provide a price range. Like, remember I said it was like $100 to $300. So low end of the price range is $100. High end of the price range is $300. I can go in and change that if I want to. If I have multiple advanced pricing to where it's like, well, I actually do want to have it to where there's variables in there. Cool, I can actually add a new one, and we're going to do that in a minute. The appointment strategy, once we connect your calendars tomorrow, you'll actually be able to go into here, select which calendar you want it to be on. You'll select the appointment duration, and so that's when it goes on the calendar, what block needs to be available. So if you have an appointment that ends at 10 a.m. and another one that starts at 11, and this is 90 minutes, it can't start that appointment at 10 because it'd end at 11:30, right? So you can bump this down to 60 minutes, then it could book. And then minimum time of business days to furthest possible booking days. You don't want it too far out. I'll put 7 there is a good one, just within the week. And then again, maybe on this one, you close at 5 p.m., but you stop offering this service at like 12. So you can change and set custom hours for each service, okay? So that's the overview of our service details. Now let's go in, and I'm gonna do this massive block here that's detailed service overview. I'm just gonna click on edit. So now it brought up all of these steps. And the way you can think about this is like, imagine you're going to Amazon and you're buying a new t-shirt, and this t-shirt is large, and then the values would be like blue, red, green, like what colors they have the t-shirt in. And then I would create a new one down here saying small, and I would do all the colors again, right? So that way, if someone's ordering a t-shirt and be like, hey, can I get a large blue t-shirt? It's like, oh, we don't have a large blue. We have a green and a red in large, or we have a medium blue and an extra large blue. What would you prefer? It's able to use that reasoning and figure that out, right? So this is more of just a list. So like the name of the thing, like it'd be t-shirt size or t-shirt colors, and then break it down. So this is detailed service overview. Step 1 is on-site assessment, infestation evaluation, customized strategy, perimeter treatment, and it's going to go through that list. Once I'm done, I click on create, and then I just have to make sure I come down here and save at the bottom, right? So same thing works with pricing. So like provide a price range, and then like pricing, I don't know, considerations. And I can say if the home is less than 2,000 square feet, then the service will be about $100. So I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to say if the home is more than 2,000 square feet, then the service will be about 150, but could go up to 300 depending on the size of the property. Okay, so I just kind of made that up on the spot, but you guys can see there that I'm adding to this sheet. So just as if Tim was a real person and someone asked about pricing, it'd be like, okay, I'm gonna provide a price range for you, and here are some pricing considerations that are gonna help with that, right? And so someone's like, well, what if I have like a 1,500 square foot? And it's like, it's gonna be on the low end because Tim now has that information to communicate, right? So save that, success, that's awesome. Wait for that to remove. So now we can go in there and add all of your services and business logic. Now, day 2, we're almost done, right? We learned all about our conversations page, how to test it. You can call the number and test it. You can do it inside the browser call test. And we learned all about how to mark it as completed, pull out variables, change things. I know we want to get it connected to your CRMs. We want to get it connected to your calendar. We're going to do that tomorrow. But right now, call and test, edit and change. And remember, when you're doing this, if it's a high-level overview, it's going to be in your sales conversations and your current customer conversations flow. If it's about a service, it's going to be in your individual services. And you can click on here and update that way. Okay? And if for whatever reason it's business logic, it's going to be on your business logic page. So that's where you have your service areas, your city, all that stuff to get it nailed in so that it covers your business really well. So have fun with it, test it, have your neighbors call it, have your potential customers call it, right? Have your employees call it, have your mom call it, right? Have everybody call it and test it and try to find bugs in the system, because the bugs aren't going to be from the AI, but the bugs are going to be how it's set up, right? Oh, that's not quite how I want it. Awesome. Let's hop in here and change it. And again, if you guys have any questions at all, right, on the menu, get help, bunch of articles that are here, but also just contact support, reach out. We can set up a call. You can actually use our chat widget on our site to say, I need a support call, and it'll book an appointment for you. A lot of the time we can handle it over a quick email, but we want you guys to have all the support and help that you need. So if you haven't gone through onboarding and everything, you're just doing the 10 by 10 by 10 challenge, you can still ask for help, right? Okay, guys, awesome day 2. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 3 of the 10 by 10 by 10 challenge, or 10 appointments in 10 days from 10 missed phone calls. See ya.